Hey guys, Mona Lisa here, and welcome to the Game of Thrones season 5 extras, where I'm going to go going through like my favorite characters, least favorite characters, favorite scenes, most shocking scenes, heartbreaking scenes, funniest scenes, my charge predictions, and some disappointments for this season as well. So that being said, let's get started. So my favorite characters for this season has changed a bit compared to the other seasons. This is the first season where Tyrion has not been my number one, and I'm a bit surprised as myself, but I think in this season here, Tyrion hasn't been like the most dominating character like he has been in some other seasons. My number one favorite character is Jon in this season. I think he did an amazing job. He became the Lord Commander, and he made some hard decisions, and he's really stepped up compared to sort of the other seasons, I think. Personally, I think, and I know that I've had got some stick for that, but Jon, he was too immature, too hot-headed, and just didn't listen to anybody before. And he's definitely changed in this season here, and he stood up for what he believed in, and it was a bit of a shocker that he died, and I'll go through that later. But I think definitely Jon is the number one hero in this season, and that's why he's my number one. Number two is the first time she's made it to the top five of the this season. It's Dany. She really surprised me in this season here, and I think it is helping as well that Tyrion has sort of joined her. But I think she's definitely stepped into her own now, and I think that with Barristan dying, she's definitely learned that she needs to listen to people and that, and she's definitely like Jon stepped up in this season as well, and I just love the fact that she's her relationship with Drogon. I just love that. So yeah, Dany's my number two. Number three is Sansa. Again, she's been through a horrible season, like a lot of characters, but Sansa just seems to get all the really bad luck, and I think considering what she's gone through in this season, she's handled herself really well, and she's willing to fight, fight for herself, and all through the season she was trying to get Theon, to snap out of it and help her. He owed her that, and in the end, it did work, and I think as well, she stood up for herself in the final episode. It was sort of like, I'd rather die than being in this situation. So if you're gonna kill me, and that's the end of it. I've got a lot of respect for Sansa. And it's funny how things change, because season one, I couldn't stand her. So Sansa's my number three. Number four is Tyrion. He wasn't as dominant in this season as he has been in other seasons. So I love the fact that I think what did it for me was his conversation with Dany, how much they really have in common with their messed up parents and that. So I love that, and again, he's able to get himself and Jorah out of difficult situations where I think if he hadn't had that smarts, they probably would have been going to kill both of them. So Tyrion is my number four. Number five is that was a hard one, because it was between sort of like Samwell, Jorah, and Brienne, but I think Samwell for this one here. He spoke up for Jon when they were on about who was going to be Lord Commander, and he's protecting his woman, and obviously he was devastated when the Maester Aemon died, and now in the last episode, I can understand why he left, because I think Sam, he would be a great maester. I think once he gets to know like the books, and how to sort of different things out, I think it's going to be amazing. So Yeah, Sam is my number five. So yeah, that was my top my favorites. My least favorites is just the first season as well, where it's not a Lannister who's my main like villain. So yeah, number one is Littlefinger. I know other people have done worse things and like physically done worse things than he has, but he's had a finger in everything. He's the reason why Sansa is in such a bad position as she is, and again, he's trying to manipulate people to fight each other and all that. And yeah, he's just a snake. And yeah, he's my number one. Number two is Ramsay. Again, he's a psychopath, and the way he's treating Sansa is absolutely disgusting. And how he skinned that old lady alive. Yeah, he's a sick bastard. So yeah, he's my. I think it's pretty clear. You know, yeah, he's my number two. Number three is Cersei. Again, you know, she's just, yeah, she's Cersei, isn't she? I think she did get a bit of a reality check in the end, but I think it's rather than learning from it, she's going to go back to her old ways, and she's going to want revenge on everybody, especially now that Marcella is dead. So yeah. Cersei, I mean, everything she did kind of backfired on her because she was trying to get revenge on the Tyrells, and in doing so, yeah, she she sort of sided with the wrong people, and yeah, that's why she ended up in the situation she did in the end. So yeah, Cersei's my number three. Number four is Ilaria. I just don't get it. Yeah, she's not right in her head either. Obviously, Oberyn fought, and that was his choice. You know, nobody made him do it. Then she wants revenge for that, and it's just like, get over yourself. I don't understand her or her daughters. It's just like, I don't. Yeah, I just don't get the character. So yeah, she's my number four. Number five is Jaqen. I always thought he was weird, but I don't understand him. I don't understand the whole face thing. He's just been an absolute dick, I think, in this season towards Arya, and yeah, I just don't get it. But that's just me. But yeah, he's my number five. So yeah, they were my least favorite characters. My favorite scenes. I'll just show you here how I've done it throughout the season. So I've sort of picked one for every single episode, and then out of those, picked my three favorite ones. So my number one favorite scene is when Tyrion saw Drogon for the first time. Him and Jorah were sailing into Valyria, and they were talking about the past and that like reciting books and that, and then all of a sudden you saw Drogon fly over there, and that just confirmed everything for Tyrion, didn't it? That you know, everything that he's heard, and all the stories on that is just true, and the fact that Dany is alive and she has three dragons. So it's one thing to hear people talk about it, but it's another thing to actually see the proof yourself. And it was just like the look on his face when he saw Drogon was just absolutely like, he was in awe, wasn't he? So yeah, I just absolutely loved that. It was quite kind of a heartfelt scene, and I think both of them played it really well. So that was my favorite scene. The second favorite was when Dany and the lot were attacked at the arena, and she took off on Drogon. You know, she was having to save him. Obviously, it was one of her kids. So yeah, she sort of climbed up on him, and then you know, she flew off, and that was just absolutely amazing to see. Yeah, I think she's one to look out for now, definitely, and I just love that. And you know, the guys looking at her flying off on him, it's just like, it's such a powerful move. And I think compared to other seasons where, you know, we've seen her build her armies and that, and they're just growing, I think this was just different. It felt right. if that makes any sense. You know how I felt about Danny and her choices before, but here it just felt right, and I can't explain why, but it just did. So yeah, that was my second favorite scene. Um, the third one as well. I mean, it's really hard to do because there's so many good scenes, but like again, this is a heartfelt scene because Sansa has been struggling all season, and then in the very last episode, when Theon actually pushed the girl over, I can't remember her name, but he pushed her over, and he actually did save Sansa in the end. And then he took her hand, and we have to get out of here, and they both jumped. Um, it's been coming all season. He's sort of betrayed her because he's been too scared and that. But now he actually did the right thing, stood up for himself, knowing that he does this, that's going to get him killed in a very horrific way, isn't it? So yeah, they both jump over the wall, and like one of you guys said, they've grown up in Winterfell. They know what's safe and what places to. Yeah, they know the place, so yeah, they're gonna be okay. But yeah, I love that scene that he finally snapped out of it and saved Sansa. And Sansa is one of our heroes, so well, heroine, and yeah, we need to protect her. So I love that. So yeah, they were my favorite scenes. Most shocking moments in this season. Again, you can see on the side the pics from each episode, but yeah, John's death. It was just so out there that when I was watching, it didn't even register that was real. I don't know. It just didn't feel right. It's just something dodgy. But I'll come back to that. But yeah, John's death. After everything he'd gone through, after everything he's managed to do, die that way. Yeah, that was yeah, definitely the most shocking moment. So yeah, that was the number one. Number two was the Sons of Harpy, their attack on Danny at the arena. I didn't see that coming at all. I mean, Hista even got killed in that, and it was just like, I think it was like the sneak attack, and we were seeing Jorah in the arena, and then all of a sudden he picked up a spear, whatever it was he picked up, and then just threw it, and they thought that he was going after Danny, but it was actually he was protecting her. And then you just saw the whole thing, everybody, just starting to attack and kill people and that. So definitely that was, I think that was the second most shocking thing. It was just the whole like, what the hell is just going on here, man? Like, are you serious? So yeah, that was number two. Number three, it was shocking because it was just so weird, like so out there, and I just still don't understand it. But it was when Jaqen took Arya down into that basement thing, whatever the hell it was, and all these like faces on these pillar things. I don't understand it. Like these people who are, I don't know, it's because they're dying and then they kill them out of mercy or something, and then they use their faces, so they're like faceless and can use those. It was shocking how many faces were down there, and yeah, absolutely mental. Yeah, that was shocking. Definitely, like it's like just completely different. Yeah, it's just out there, isn't it? So yeah, there were my three most shocking moments. So the most heartbreaking, again, you can see the ones for each episode. Number one, Shireen's death. I mean, I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting Stannis to actually go through with that. I mean, he loves his daughter, and it's just like the desperation, and I think the lies that the priest has been telling him. If you do that, it's one life to save thousands of lives. It's sort of like the lie he's been told, and he actually gave in and yeah, sacrificed her. And even her mom, who, how she's come across is like she hates her daughter, even felt like, no, this is not the right, we cannot do this, she is our daughter and that. And she wasn't able to help her. But yeah, I think that was the most heartbreaking because she's a very good that girl is just a very good kid, isn't she? And she wants to help, and she was even saying to Stannis, I'll do whatever it takes to help. I want to help you, and that's the reward she gets. It was just absolutely sick, and yeah, even her mom, she hung herself, and yeah, she couldn't take that. So yeah, that was the most heartbreaking, definitely. And then I think the second most heartbreaking was when Littlefinger was telling Sansa the plan of her having to go to Winterfell to marry Ramsay. It was just like the shock on Sansa's face, and she was devastated, wasn't she? These people had killed her family, and then she's having to marry into this family. It's just, a sick bastard. So, I mean, you just felt for this girl, she's been through enough. Yeah, and then having to do this, it was just like, Littlefinger seriously needs to die. We need to get rid of him. Yeah, so that was the second most heartbreaking scene, I think. The third one, it was sort of a small scene, but Jamie, he's always like, he's always had this in the back of his mind that he feels guilty, I think, about having these children, and the fact that he's not able to tell them that he's their father and have that sort of relationship with them. When he had his talk with Marcella, about sometimes people are doing things out of love and all this and that, and she was actually saying, I know who you are, I know what happened, and I know you're my father, and I'm absolutely okay with it, and it was just a look on his face, like finally, he's been accepted, and he can tell somebody how he really feels, and it's okay. He's not being judged or anything like that. And then it was just devastating to see her die in his arms, because he'd been poisoned, and it was just like, he didn't. I don't think he deserved that. Like, definitely not. And it was just heartbreaking. He finally told somebody, having a heart-to-heart with her, and then she dies, and it was just devastating. So yeah, they were my three most heartbreaking moments. So the funniest moments, yeah, there wasn't that many in this season, I gotta say. It was a very dark and depressing season, I think, and so yeah, there wasn't that many light-hearted moments. But number one was when Arya said the C word. It was funny because it was so, you didn't expect her to say that. Right, when it was when the girl hit her and she was like, "You," and it was just like, what did she just say that? Like, yeah, I just loved that. I wasn't expecting it, and I think that's what made it funny. So yeah, that was my number one favorite, funniest moment. Number two was when Gilly was, well, when Shireen was teaching Gilly how to read, and Sam was just in the background, just I think he was kind of like, it almost came across like he was trying to brag to Gilly that he was good at reading and this and that, and Gilly was just like, what, shut up, I don't want to hear anything from you, just I'm doing my thing, you do your thing. And it was just like the relationship, like, yeah, you might be book smart, but I can do other things, and just shut up. And I just loved that. So you put him in his place, I loved that. Yeah. And again, number three, again, it was Sam and Gilly. It was when the guys were, they were at Castle Black, and they were sort of practicing fighting and that, for battle and what have you. And Sam was like, "Oh, I don't need to practice. I've killed a White Walker, and I've killed a Then, or I can't remember what it was he said." But and Gilly was just like, yeah, It was just like how he's sort of like boasting about his kills and that, so he didn't feel like he needed to, unless I'm misunderstanding it. But that's sort of how he came across, that he didn't feel like he needed to to practice, because he knew how to kill. So yeah, that was my third one. So like I said, there wasn't that many funny moments in this season. So yeah, they were my top three. Okay, so I'm just going to share some disappointments about this season. It was just something that didn't quite feel right in this season, I think, and you guys are probably not going to say, you're probably going to disagree with me, but yeah, it just didn't feel right. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, the number one of disappointments was we didn't see Bran in this season at all. How it ended in the last season, was quite an interesting storyline for Bran. Him going up there and him becoming like part of the children of the forest thing, whatever it is, and meeting this old guy who was like the three-eyed raven, and then you don't see the story follow on. I know my other half said when I queried it with him, he was like, yeah, apparently there was just too many things going on in season 5 for Bran's storyline to fit in with it as well. And Funnister was saying that apparently on the timeline, Bran's story didn't fit in with what was happening in season 5, so that's why it was left out. But it for me, it was definitely something that was missed. I missed that storyline. I could have done without the Dawn storyline, and then I'd rather have seen Bran's. But yeah, that was just one of those things that is like, what? And again, for me, John's death, it just didn't seem justified. I don't know how to explain it, but John was such a massive character. He's really come into his own, and he's done a lot of things to help people, and become a leader and that. And then the way he dies. A few minutes in the last episode, just like it just didn't feel right. It didn't even click that that he was actually dead. I thought maybe, okay, we haven't seen Bran, maybe it's one of Bran's predictions, or maybe it's one of the priestess predictions, but him actually dying like that, it just wasn't right. I don't think it was a justified death for him. I can see why, because obviously his predecessor, Mormont, he died by mutiny. The guys turning on him, and that's what the guys did here as well. And I don't know. It just wasn't. It wasn't the death that I feel like John deserved. He deserved something more epic than being betrayed by his men. And that's just how I feel about it. I don't think this is the end of John, but I'll come back to that later. So yeah. And again, the last 2 episodes. I think it's because I don't know, because the other seasons, the last episodes, they've been so epic and so great, that your expectations are just set far too high. And for me, I just felt like the last couple of episodes, they were half-hearted. There wasn't a great battle in episode 9, which I was expecting. I was expecting a massive battle at I was expecting a great battle at Winterfell, and that didn't happen. And then you had Stannis die, which was kind of like, really, that's how he's dying. And the same for Jon. It was just like, yeah, it just didn't feel right to me. So I really didn't like the last couple of episodes. So yeah. And again, number 4 is there wasn't a big battle in episode 9, which yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, tell me how you feel about it, whether I'm overreacting or what. But yeah, number 5 is the Dawn storyline. I was just like, when you saw it, I don't think it was justified for Jaime. Jaime's a great character, and I just felt like he was just like, it was a weak storyline. I think it's the whole. I don't know if it was how it was acted by the actresses or what, but what's her name, Ilaria. I just wasn't invested in that story. I don't particularly like her, and I don't know because it was bad acting as such, or bad writing, or directing, or I don't know what it was, but to me it just did not feel right. It didn't catch me. I wasn't invested in the storyline, which is a shame, because I can see what they were trying to do, but I just don't think it was done the right way. And I think what they were trying to do is obviously make Cersei so angry that, Ilaria wants revenge for Oberyn, so she's killing Myrcella to get Cersei's attention, which obviously is going to make Cersei pissed off, and then, go to war against them, and that's what, Ilaria wanted. But yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, you're just sort of like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, number six. Again, like with Arya, I think in the other seasons she's had some really good storylines for where she's going, and here in this season here, I just didn't feel like she was progressing. Again, it just seemed like a weak storyline. We weren't really going anywhere. I mean, yeah, in the end, she did get revenge on Meryn, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying that storyline. I hope she's going to get out of there because it's just too weird for me. And yeah, so again, that storyline just sort of fell flat for me. So yeah, number seven. Again, we didn't see Recon either. Like we didn't see Bran or Recon in this season, and I would have liked to have seen what happens to him because he is the youngest Stark, and yeah, it's just a shame that we didn't see him or Osha. She's quite a good character as well, and I would have loved to see what they were doing and how they were surviving, but we didn't get to see that, so I was missing that as well. And then number eight, this is the last sort of thing that like, what happened to Gendry? Like, he went to King's Landing, and then we've not seen him in this season. Like, he was such a good character with Arya, and then he's just, we've not seen him at all. He's just like forgotten about like what's going on. Yeah, I need these things tied up, and I suppose my issue is I don't like loose ends, and we're getting a lot of that. But it's just like, yeah, Bran, Recon, Gendry, what's going on? Like, yeah, I don't like it. But that's just me for this season. Yeah, please let me know how you feel about it. But for me, these were the things that I want to be happy about. So yeah. Okay, so the chart. They've been pretty steady for most of it, but I think, like I said before, the characters, you know them fairly well, and there's not really been that many surprises in that. But yeah, let's have a look at them. So the Starks, everything has been pretty steady. Everybody's where they need to be, and the only one really that's changed on the Starks. Chart is Arya, and again, it's because I think it's the storyline. It's how she's sort of she's not let herself go. It's just like her decisions she's made in this season here. Yeah, I think rather than her going to to Bravos, I think she should maybe have made it up north. I don't know, but yeah, it was her storyline in this season. I didn't particularly like it, and I don't know. I don't like where she's going. So I hope there's gonna be some changes in season 6 on her storyline. So yeah, so that was the Starks. The Lannisters, let's have a look. So again, that's been pretty sort of steady. Not much changes, but yeah, Bronn, I think. And I don't know, he's just becoming. I mean, he's always been a bit of a pervert, but I think his storyline here has just been like comic relief type of thing, and there's not really been much for him. So yeah, yeah. So he's gone down a bit, and the same for Tommen. He's a nice kid, but he's too young to be the king of the realms, and yeah, he's too weak and obviously dominated by his mother. So yeah, he's gone down a bit as well. And then Cersei, she's gone up by 1, and that's because regardless of who you are, what happened to her in episode 10. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, so I do feel for her in that having to go down there and naked, and that no, nobody should have to do that. So yeah, she's gone up by 1. She's still not liked, but I do feel bad for her for that one. So yeah, that was the Lannisters. So we have the Targaryens, Greyjoys, and the Boltons. There's a few more changes on this one. First one is Jorah. Obviously, he's one of my favorite characters, but what he did when he kidnapped Tyrion, it was a big no-no. So yeah, he went downhill on that one, and he sort of redeemed himself by saving Tyrion. But again, if he hadn't kidnapped Tyrion, he wouldn't have had to save him. And then obviously with Dany as well, I think in the end he did. I think he redeemed himself to her, that he saved her in the end. And that was a Jorah. So we've got Dario, and again, I've never really trusted him. I thought he was like okay, and then I didn't trust him, his intentions and that. But I think I do understand him now. I do think he cares about Dany, and I think he is completely on her side. So he's gone up again. Yeah. Theon, again, I felt really bad for him in last season and this season. I think he's one of those guys who've had it the worst, and you just been waiting for him to redeem himself for what he's done in season 2, 3. Was it season 3? I can't remember now, but what he did at Winterfell, saving Sansa in the last episode. I think he's redeeming himself, so that's why he's gone back up now. So yeah, that was them. So the Baratheons and the Tyrells, there's a few changes on there as well. Olenna, she sort of went up and then sort of went down again, and I still like her, but it's just a whole, her conversation with people. I'm not sure where we're heading. So yeah, Olenna, and then we have Stannis. Stannis, I liked him. I thought he was a great warrior, and then he had his own daughter sacrificed, and that just did it for me. That's that you can't redeem yourself from that. There's no forgiveness for that. So yeah. And then, like I said, I thought his death was going to be a bit more, it's going to be in battle. It was in battle, but it was sort of like it was rushed, and it was. I think he deserved a better death. I mean, Brienne did get her revenge, but Stannis, that's unforgivable what he did. And then Selyse, I think she redeemed herself a little bit. I mean, she was not quite right in her head, but I think she finally realized, this, her being like fanatic about the religion, and hating her daughter and that, and then she sort of came around in the end. It's like, no, this is not right. She is our daughter. We can't do that. So I think her, begging Stannis like to please stop this, and trying to get to her daughter, she redeemed herself in the end. I think so. Yeah, I feel really bad for her, and I can see why. I can understand why she couldn't cope with it, and then she killed herself. It's horrible. So then we have others, which is obviously characters who don't quite fit in anywhere else. So we had Gilly. I mean, she's gone up. I love Gilly. She's a very level-headed girl, and she questions the right things, I think. And I think she's quite good with Sam. So yeah, she's gone up. And then Prince Doran, again, he just wants to, he wants their people to be left alone and have a peaceful life, and I respect that. And then when he was having a go at Ilaria, it's like, what you're doing is unforgivable. Either you behave, or it's the end of you. I respect him for that. So yeah, I quite like him. And then obviously Ilaria, I just don't get the character. She's whatever. She's gone down. So yeah, that was other characters. Everybody else is pretty steady. So we have Wildlings, the Brotherhood, and Crows. Obviously, we've not seen the Brotherhood in a long time, but Tormund, I quite liked him before, but I think him with Jon, sort of they're becoming allies for the greater good. I love that. And then obviously when we had the fight up at home, I can't remember what the place was called, but when they had to fight against the the White Walkers, he stepped up and he fought side by side with Jon. So yeah, I love that. So Tormund is becoming one of my yeah, he's becoming a favorite. I think we need to see more of him. But yeah, I love that. And then Ollie, I went from liking Ollie to, he's gone downhill from here. I can understand he's a young kid and he's seen his parents and his whole village being killed by the wildlings, but for that to be part of the mutiny on Jon, no, I'm not having that. So yeah, Ollie's gone down, and the same for Thorne. I thought Thorne was an asshole, but at least he was sort of playing along with Jon, and then in the end he didn't actually do that. He was just plotting behind Jon's back to have Jon killed. So yeah, he's gone down as well. So yeah, that was the charts. So I thought I'd just share a little comparison to like who my favorite characters were in like the uh, in my extras for the like season 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So yeah, Tyrion has been like on number 1 throughout these seasons until this season, where Jon, who's not been on the list before, has he? Oh, he was in season 4. Yeah, he's become number 1, and then Dany has made an appearance on the top on my favorite characters, which is quite interesting because I've always questioned, what she was doing, and I got a lot of criticism for that. But yeah, I see what she's doing now, and I stand by what I've said before. She's had to grow a lot and learn from people. So yeah. Sansa as well, Sansa's pretty steady, and Tyrion's gone down, but I think that's more because I love Tyrion. I love hearing what he says and that, and I think it's just because his role hasn't been as great in this season as it has in the other ones. That's why he's gone down a bit. But yeah, and Sam I think is pretty steady as well. Then we have Littlefinger. This is the first time in the first season where a Lannister hasn't been my number 1 baddie. It's Littlefinger, and then Ramsay. He's been pretty steady as well. Cersei, Ilarias is the first time she's on there, but yeah, and then Jaqen as well. So I think it's sort of pretty steady. There's been a few surprises, but yeah, overall, yeah, it's quite interesting. Okay, so the season 5 predictions, as all my predictions didn't really go according to plan. So yeah, let's go through him. So yeah, my number 1 was Bran is going to take over as the three-eyed raven because the old man is old and will die. So Bran will control the wargs from the tree place, and yeah, that didn't happen. Stannis will try and take King's Landing and will succeed. Definitely didn't happen, and it is not going to happen. Number 3, Stannis will have Cersei killed, and yeah, it didn't happen. Number 4, Tyrion will go to Essos, but first. We'll go to Essos first, but then reunite with Sansa. Yeah, it didn't happen. I mean, he did go to Essos, but obviously we knew that. So yeah, number 5, Rickon and Osha will run into Stannis, and Stannis will protect them. Rickon will become friends with Shireen. That's not going to happen now, is it? Number 6, Jon will become Lord Commander. I was right on that, but then he will find Uncle Benjen. That didn't happen, so I was partly right on that one. And then number 7, Arya will go to Braavos to train as a warrior. That did kind of happen, didn't it? Kind of. I mean, she is learning how to fight in their way and that. So yeah, I'm taking that. Number 8, Brienne and Pod will make it to the Vale and will stay as protectors of Sansa. I mean, it wasn't the Vale, but it was Winterfell. But they didn't quite make it. But maybe next season, there's still time. Oh yeah, because Sansa and Theon jumped down, and Brienne is out there somewhere. They could meet up with them. They could. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, that didn't happen. Number 9, Sansa will get more power and will have Brienne kill Littlefinger. I mean, that could still happen, but it didn't happen in this season. And number 10, Cersei will get angry with Jaime and force him to kill for her. I mean, she sent him away, forced him sort to go away. So yeah, that didn't happen. So yeah, that were my season 5 failed predictions. I still think it would be quite interesting if these sort of predictions would actually happen. I wonder what sort of story it would be then. But yeah, that's just all in my head, isn't it? So yeah, that were my failed season 5 predictions. So yeah, I have some season 6 predictions, which we probably will laugh at knowing what's going to happen in that. But number 1, I'm gonna still because we didn't see Bran in this season. I'm gonna put that on because I still believe that's going to happen. So yeah, Bran is going to take over as the three-eyed raven because the old man is old and is going to die. So Bran will control the walks from the tree place, and that was why he was guided there. So I still think that's what's going to happen with Bran. Number 2, Arya will learn that Jon died and will leave Braavos and make her way up to the wall to give revenge and will reunite with Nymeria on the way. I still believe in Nymeria. So yeah, I think that'll be quite interesting because obviously she's a kid who just wants revenge all the time, and yeah, I could see that happen. Hopefully, she needs to get out of Braavos regardless of what, because it's just like no. Number 3, and I do believe this is going to happen because I don't believe Jon's story is over. There's no way, not that sucky death that he had. So the priestess will resurrect Jon like Dondarrion was in season 3, because the priestess is part of like the Dondarrion fire thing god where they can bring people back. So I think for the priestess to survive, she'll need an ally, and I think that ally would be Jon. She was quite impressed with Jon and sort of smitten with the fact that he stood up for what he believed in. He wasn't just going to give in to her. So yeah, I could see her resurrect Jon just like Dondarrion was before. So yeah, and I really hope that's going to happen because it was such a shitty death that Jon had that he didn't deserve that. Number 4, Cersei will declare war against Dawn and have Tristan executed because obviously Tristan he's on his way to King's Landing, and with Myrcella being dead, it's not gonna end well for Tristan, I don't think. And yeah, Cersei's definitely gonna want revenge for what's happened. I mean, that's her thing, isn't it? Number 5, Sam will find a way to mine dragonglass and Valyrian steel to fight the White Walkers, because obviously he's learned that from Jon that Valyrian steel could kill these guys, and the same with dragonglass. So I think he's going to find a way to actually be able to mine all this stuff, so and forge it, and that, so they can fight the White Walkers. So yeah. Number 6, Sansa and Theon will flee to the north and will run into Rickon and the Northerners, who will rebel against the Boltons. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see that happen. I think Sansa needs to see some of her family, and yeah, that could happen because we've not seen Rickon and Osha, so I'd love to see that. And as well as that, I could actually see that Brienne and Pod would join them because they're out there somewhere as well. So yeah. So Dany, number 7, Dany will be a Dothraki captive, but Drogon, Jorah, and Daria will save her, and the Dothrakis will join her. I think once they see the dragon and that, they're gonna be like, "What the hell is that?" And they're gonna like give in to her and become part of hers. Yeah, that could definitely be, an army on top of the Unsullied and that. I mean, she could become quite big if that was to happen, and I hope it does, because the Dothrakis, they will fight to the death, won't they? Definitely. So yeah, yeah. Number 8. Tyrion and Varys will be Dany's advisors. Yeah, why not? I mean, they already are, so I could see that happen. So yeah. Number 9, Uncle Benjen will make his way back to Castle Black to lead the fight against the White Walkers. Again, we had a little tease when Jon was they lied to Jon. Oh yeah, we've heard about Benjen. I don't think that's a coincidence that his name has been mentioned for the first time in a long time. So I think there is some truth to it at least, and we will see the return of Uncle Benjen, hopefully. Number 10. Epic battle will be the fight against the White Walkers. Yeah, it's gonna have to be. I think Sam and Tormund are gonna get. They're gonna get people together, and there's gonna be a fight against the White Walkers. And I don't know. Maybe the Northerners. Will be able to join, and maybe. I don't know if Dany's gonna make her way to Westeros yet, but I mean the dragons. That would be because the bodies need to be burnt, and the dragons obviously breathe fire, so that could be a really good weapon, couldn't it? Yeah, get Dany's dragons over there and attack them from the air, burn them. Yeah. So that's my season 6 predictions, and on top of that, I've got who I think will die in season 6. It's just a little add-on. So the 3 that I think will die is I think Daario is gonna die. I think Theon. I think I think that's gonna be the end of Theon. And this is one I don't want, but I think Brienne could probably maybe die in this season as well. So yeah, they're sort of like my predictions on who would die in the next season. So I have my list that Lola and Andres sort of requested of who I think will make it to the end, and everybody on the list they're still alive. So we got Sam, Bran, Arya, Littlefinger, Varys, Dany, Tyrion, Jorah. He's still alive for now. Sansa and Podrick. So at the moment they're all still alive. So I'm quite happy with that. So so that was sort of my predictions. So that was the season 4 extras, and I just want to thank you guys so much for watching my reactions, and it's so interesting to get other people's perspectives and thoughts on on this show, and I just absolutely love it. So you guys on Patreon, thank you so much for your support there, and you guys on YouTube, it just makes this experience a lot more fun, and this is kind of like what I was hoping for when I wanted to sort of share my reactions to shows, sort of get other people's opinions and that, because it's one thing to sort of have an idea of what's going to happen and that, but it's completely different being able to share it with others. It's one thing to have a chat with somebody about it, but it's great being able to share it with all over the world and people's opinions and that. So I just want to thank you guys so much for that, and I can't wait to get started on season 6. Hopefully season 6 is gonna be a bit more, it's gonna be better than this season here. Please let me know what you think about this season, because I thought there were some weak points in this season compared to other seasons. So I know you guys are looking forward for me to watch season 6. So I got high hope for season 6. And that being said, guys, I will see you in the next season.